sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a fun-filled trip that started from this local port aboard a charter ship. Something catchy as the charter boat, the Captain Brian Mills. Librarian said sail that day to film some fishing thrills, to film some fishing thrills. The girls were not experienced at fishing on the lake. If not for the knowledge of our Captain Mills, this trip they could not take. This trip they could not take. The girls did not have licenses. The captain said no fishing for boss lady, the techno queen, the puppeteer, Collie Pan, the researcher, the gal Friday, and film critic here on Library Line. So this is a tale of our motley crew, their trip upon Lake Erie. They thought they would be catching perch on their fishing lines. The captain said, I'm sorry girls, a license is a must. So it looks just like this fishing trip is going to be a bust. No poles, no fish, no licenses, that's an empty dinner dish. Let's hope next time they all set sail they'll come prepared to fish. But you can join us on our trip, you'll have a real good time. Just sit right back and enjoy our show here on Library Line.
Welcome to Library Line, your connection to the Conneaut community. I'm Kathy Pape, Executive Director of the library, and your host for Library Line. Well, I'm sitting here at my desk at the library, and okay, obviously I'm not. We are out on a charter fishing boat. We got new seahorses in the library, and so we're all about the lake, the sea, and everything that comes out of it and swims in it, and everybody that enjoys it so much, especially right here in Conneaut, Ohio. So the whole show is all about our beautiful Lake Erie and our beautiful seahorse take. So stay tuned, it's going to be a great show.
A lot of times in the morning you'll see them hanging out on the logs, out on the wall.
Welcome to Spotlight on the Community. I'm sitting here with Captain Brian Mills.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Real good.
What's the name of this fine vessel?
This is Something Catchy 2.
2? What happened to 1?
I sold her this spring.
At least she didn't sink.
No, she didn't go down with all hands.
All right, that's good, that's good. You know what, thank you so much for having us out. This is a lot of fun, and what a great way to make some money, right?
Oh, it's a lot of fun, and if you didn't enjoy it for the fun purposes, I don't know about making the money.
So tell me, how does this work? People charter your boat and you take them out and fish, right?
Yes, we operate from about the end of May through the middle of October, and we have just a fantastic fishery here in Conneaut. It's unbelievable. We catch walleyes, perch, smallmouth bass. This time of year, even steelhead trout.
Really? Well, I mean, do some of the people that charter your boat, do they have a specific fish that they're looking for?
Probably most of our charters are looking for walleyes.
Oh, okay. Now, do people know how to fish before they do something like this?
Most people that come up here have been on a charter before, but we do get groups that have never done it, and those are actually the really fun people because they do what you tell them to do, and they don't lose fish.
I don't know if we would, right, ladies? I don't know.
Well, I mean, if you tell them how to reel in a fish or what to do, they...
So you have to teach. I mean,
yeah.
If somebody comes on and says, I want to charter, but I also want to learn how to fish, you would do that.
Absolutely.
Wow, and you have your first mate over here, Rick.
Rick goes out with us.
Okay.
My 16-year-old daughter also works with us.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Well, so your season's a little bit longer than what I actually thought it was going to be.
We actually extend the season a little bit by fishing in May in Lake Ontario, too.
You do?
Yeah, we catch king salmon, lake trout, brown trout, coho salmon, Atlantic salmon, and we do that pretty much throughout the month of May. And then we bring the boat back here at the end of May and start fishing here in June.
Wow, wow, so you really make the most of our time. And you know, what I really like about being on a boat, I grew up on a boat, but you know, we obviously live on Lake Erie, and I think people aren't taking advantage of, you know, our wonderful resource that we have in Lake Erie. It's a shame.
Well, this area, I've lived in the area my whole life, and we have such a gem here, and it's almost a hidden secret, you know. So many other areas of the lake are so developed with, you know, tourism and hotels and a lot of beachfront access is down to a minimum, you know. And here we have, you know, from Ashtabula all the way to Presque Isle. It's just probably one of the nicest areas on the lakes I've ever seen.
Yeah, it is really, really nice. And we were talking a little bit earlier on our trip out here. You are actually a certified scuba diver?
I am.
Wow. And you scuba dive here sometimes?
When the water clarity is nice, Lake Erie is fantastic to dive in.
Really? Now, would you take people out if they were certified?
I'd take people out on a trip certified if they were certified.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a master, so I can't teach people to dive or take people on their training trips or anything like that. But if people were already certified and they wanted to rent the boat to go out and dive, I can certainly do that too.
Wow, and there are a lot of shipwrecks around here.
There are, and fear not, most of them aren't from this decade or even this century.
Yeah.
Most of the wrecks that we have on Lake Erie, and there are hundreds. There are more wrecks in the Great Lakes than there are in the Bermuda Triangle.
Wow, and that's because of our shallow lake and the weather conditions?
Well, more of it is because the Great Lakes commerce back in the late 1800s was all sailing ships. Well, with the advent of steam tugs, they quit sailing ships and they would just cut the masts off and they would use those sailing ships as barges.
Oh, really?
And they would tow 3 or 4 of them in a line with a big tug, and they would just keep running them until they would fall apart. And then when one of them started to falter, they just cut the line and let it sink.
I love library line because this is the kind of stuff that we learn. That's why I like doing that. I mean, that's something I never knew. That's pretty cool.
Most of the wrecks are near harbors, people struggling to get back. As a matter of fact, the John B. Lyon is straight 4 miles straight north off the lighthouse here. It was
wow, really?
It was a 226-foot wooden boiler propeller ship. It went down in the early 1900s, and the anchor for the ship was hauled up and it's on display in the mouth of the, right where you come down in the Conneaut Harbor.
Yeah, and that's a pretty large anchor, so.
Yeah. I think it's 226 feet long. That ship that's out there.
Wow, that is so cool. So when you take people out on fishing charter, like how far do you go then?
Well, depends on the time of the year and where the fish want to be. In the early part of the year, we may fish not this far offshore.
Oh, okay.
And later part of the year, we have been out 15, 16 miles.
Wow. So I know Stephanie really loved your little fish finder that you have on your, I don't know if you call it a dashboard on a boat, but
It's still a dashboard. There's no nautical term for it. It's still a dash.
Yeah, and so that's cool. It obviously helps you see not only the fish, but any other conditions that may be coming your way or what's underneath the water, correct?
Well, yes, the sonar will pick up everything. You know, we can read. It's a very delicate instrument. I mean, it really picks up a lot of definition.
Okay, okay. So it's anything that's under the water, and I know Steph was wondering, what have you seen that could be, you know, just something odd, just an odd thing? Like,
Well, on the sonar, if you see something large, it's hard to determine what it might be. Most of the time, we take that for a school of bait fish.
okay.
A large school of bait will come across as a great big red blob on there. But there are people that have said, is that something we should be worried about? I said, I don't know, but nothing's ever come up and got me yet, so
I love it.
I haven't worried about it.
What about out on the lake? Have you ever see something that's just like, what, you know, questionable?
Not really. I mean, probably the strangest occurrences we have are on a flat lake. You have waves that come out of nowhere, and I attribute it to currents changing direction and such. And that can be kind of weird when that happens.
Sure, absolutely.
And you know, we've hooked fish that we couldn't stop. You know, they were probably a sturgeon or maybe a huge catfish or something. But
Wow.
there's been times when you catch a fish and you're like, okay, it's just leaving, and you don't have the tackle to stop it, and it just goes away.
So what's the largest fish, and what kind was it that you've caught, or somebody from your boat?
Probably the largest fish we've caught on this boat was a catfish, probably what, 25 pounds, 20, 25 pounds.
Yeah, no, some of those can be really scary looking.
No, they take a long time to get in. We catch them when we're walleye fishing, so the person thinks they have the world record walleye, and even when they get right up close to the surface of the water, they look yellow like a walleye, and your heart skips a couple of beats. You're like, oh my god! And it comes up, and you see the whiskers on the fish's mouth. But They're a lot of fun to catch.
Wow, so you eat a lot of fish.
I do.
Wow, now you prepare all your own fish and do that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Yes, my wife doesn't eat fish, so if I want fish, I have to prepare it.
Oh my gosh, and your freezer's probably full then.
Well, you would.
Fish stew, fish roast, I don't know.
That's what everybody thinks, but you know, I charter all year long, and the people that are on the boat take their fish with them.
Well, that makes sense too.
So this is the time of the year that I have to panic and go out and a few times take my kids and relatives and everybody get on the boat and run out there and catch some fish to put in our freezer.
Wow. All right, so when you go on vacation, you probably what? Go to an island somewhere and still stay near the water?
Well, we just went to put in a little trip.
Of course.
Somebody said, "Did you go fishing while you're there?" I said, "No."
Oh, you know, my cousins actually own a fishing charter business in Portland.
Oh, did they?
Mm-hmm. Yes, they do. So you'll have to, I'll hook you up with them if you want to go fishing while you're there.
We'll do a trade-a trip.
Yay, that's a good idea. I'll send this to them, so hey, be on the lookout. Well, thank you. We're going to film a little bit more. We aren't allowed to fish because we don't have our licenses, so we're going to maybe cast a line, take a tool around, and catch some more shots of the harbor. Thank you very much. We're enjoying ourselves.
You're very welcome, and we'll do our best to give you a nice tour of the harbor.
All right, thank you.
Hi, it's Vicky. I'm out here on Lake Erie for Wild and Wacky Conneaut history. I am out here to see if I can see Bessie. Bessie is our Lake Erie monster. Now, excuse me if I look a little panicky occasionally. I'm not exactly the most comfortable person out here on the lake when it's a little rough. Oh, I guess it's not really rough today. Anyway, I want you to keep your eyes open and see if you see Bessie out here. Now, Bessie was first documented about 1817. A couple of brothers spotted some remains, some phosphorescent remains on the shore. But Bessie's been spotted. Usually, most of the cases that I've seen or read about are the western part of Lake Erie. And she's been seen many times. They say that she has an insect-like head and could be between 30 and 40 feet long. And she sometimes is serpent-like across the lake. And recently, last summer, somebody taped something very unusual up in the Canadian side. He was making, he was out fishing with swimming with his kids, and he filmed something, and I was hoping to maybe get some film of it on the internet, but I don't know, he's keeping it secret. But hey, has anybody had any weird stories on Lake Erie from Conneaut? If you have, call me. I'd love to hear about it.
What you doing, Rick?
We're going to try to catch a fish. We'll let the lures out. Just go 2 miles an hour, 2.5 miles an hour.
So you keep the boat going and you're trolling, right?
Yeah, it's called trolling.
I'm learning while I'm out here.
Do you have the pretty orange lure or the pretty pink lure, Rick?
I have the pretty orange one on this one, the pink one on that one.
So we catch pink ones with the pink lures and orange fish with the orange lure. I'm getting it.
Boat.
Oh, look,
Okay,
there's another
how
boat.
about if I trade you sides?
Oh, we're going to put two lines
I'm going to let the pink one out.
Oh, yay. That was my favorite one.
Yeah. But I don't know if fish are colorblind or not. It does, different colors seem to work better.
They're probably coming out because they think, oh, he was there somewhere. What's your favorite fish to eat, Rick?
My favorite is walleye.
Walleye? Yeah, they're real mild, huh?
Real mild.
That's what I like walleye and perch.
Can you eat sheephead?
Well, I have. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. They taste disgusting.
When you pick one up, they're kind of slimy. I wouldn't eat one.
One time my brother made hamburgers. He ground it up, and we didn't want to eat it. Everybody tasted it, and so he tried to give it to a dog, and the dog wouldn't even eat it.
I can't say that I wouldn't blame.
Hey Rick, why don't you put those on put a holder down and lay them out to the sides?
I can do that.
And of course, we're not fishing because we don't have any licenses.
No, Rick is fishing.
Rick has a
Only me,
license.
yeah, it's just me fishing.
He couldn't stand to come out on the water and not put a line in.
There.
Now we wait.
Yeah, now the waiting
And
game.
how do we know when we get one?
Well, the pole will bend almost in half.
Ah!
If you see it jerking, well, and the fish pulls on it. So it's just a waiting game.
I haven't fished in years.
What's that, Vicky?
I haven't fished in years.
And what's biting right now?
We used to fish
Oh,
all
look
the
at that.
time before kids came
That
along.
looks like it's got a bite.
No, that's just the lure
Oh,
wiggling.
and my hopeful wishing.
Right now, the perch bite is really good. We still have a lot of walleyes to catch. And the steelhead are starting to come in closer to shore now. It's not very likely that there's many steelhead in here, but there are some. There'll be a few steelhead starting to come in. And we've picked them up before doing just this. Right in the harbor.
Did you ever catch a sturgeon out deep? Have you ever? No?
I have not brought one to the boat. Like I said, I know we've probably hooked them when we were perch fishing, but we never landed one.
Is sturgeon good eating?
I hear it's good smoked,
Isn't that what they get the
That's caviar.
from?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
but
I never ate caviar before.
There-
I don't like caviar.
No?
No.
there used to be a large population of sturgeon in Lake Erie,
Yeah,
and they commercially overfished them, so that we have very few left.
and the white perch too, right?
There are white perch, which are actually an invasive species. They're not supposed to be in the lake.
Oh,
And there's white bass.
I don't think I've ever seen white perch.
I'm gonna film it.
And I saw sturgeon in a hatchery when I was a kid.
All right.
That was a long time ago.
Well, what's the other fish that we used to have in Lake Erie years and
Well,
years
this here's
ago
our fish
that got
finder.
fished out at
Oh,
Lake
the,
Erie?
The solid red on the bottom is the bottom. You can see it's 27 feet deep here, right inside the harbor near the shipping channel. And the red marks and blobs that are between the bottom and the surface are fish, or it could be seaweed or a log or whatever is in the water column. This will pick it up and display it for you.
And it could be Bessie.
It could be Bessie. We also have this screen as a GPS screen. This tells us right where we're at on the lake. This is our navigation system. Of course, we have a backup compass in case electronics fail, but this will tell us right where we're at on the lake within
I don't know that.
6 or 8 feet.
I'm going to assume about 20.
I don't know how well you can see this on the camera from that angle,
I got it.
but it even shows the harbor walls and where we're at inside the harbor. Then you can look at both of them at the same time if you want, so you can navigate and watch for fish.
Well,
The electric anchor.
yeah. Well, we used to just fish off the dock over there for the
And
limestone.
throw it in.
Yeah, exactly. Minnow.
10 minutes.
Minnow.
It's really amazing how many people from the area that are really local have never fished out here.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Or have never been on a boat, or they don't have any connection to the water, you know?
Yeah, we
Or
used
even
Or
come
use
to
the
the
beach.
lake.
We used to fish
Yeah.
off that dock there.
Oh, yeah.
It's like the lake's a different world for
Yeah.
them.
And most of the fishermen that are local have their own boats or have friends and they go fishing with those.
Yeah.
So we don't get a whole lot of locals that rent charter boats, but there is a lot of charter boats in Conneaut. It'll probably surprise a lot of people. A lot of really good captains in Conneaut. Guys have been around for 20, 30 years
Wow.
fishing and know the fishing well. And if anybody's, even if you're local and you want to go fishing and you've never done it, you know, getting on a boat with a charter captain and going out is very economical. I mean, a lot of people like to golf, and 4 hours of golfing at a nice golf course would probably cost you $50 or $60. Well, 8 hours of fishing would only cost you about twice that. So
Yeah.
it's pretty economical for entertainment. Plus, you get to take home a bunch of fish instead of just a scorecard that you fudged on the whole time.
Ship's unloading.
There's some eagle
I'd be that one going to Florida. I'm sorry, guys. I'll catch up with you guys in the spring. What's on there? What's on top of number 3 over there?
That's an eagle, I think.
Oh, over here, Cindy.
Is that an immature eagle?
Ooh, can we zoom in?
Well, it's not a cormorant.
See how close it'll let us get. I'm gonna turn and go. Watch your
Oh, there it goes.
Oh,
It is an eagle. It is. This way.
must have heard us talking about
Look,
it.
look, look.
Oh. Is that him again?
Why is the Edmund Fitzgerald like the only one that ever crashed here? He's too long. No, it's not. No more than one orbital has?
Actually, my dad, same storm, they had a crash in their boat.
But was the Edmund Fitzgerald like really, really long with the most boats or anything? But it doesn't, it's not like long. No, that's why I wondered what
We're actually cutting the motor of it now.
What's that?
A blue heron.
Herring.
Heron.
They're in.
There he is.
Okay.
Oh no, I won't go.
Rick.
Down in the harbor is the no wake zone.
Alright.
So when other boats are passing each other boats, if you got a little boat and a big boat and you had a big wave, and so they made one of the rules.
Well, it's time for us to depart the docks. It's such a sad moment. We had such a good time. Brian, thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you for coming.
Hey, you know what? We'd love to do this again, and we were talking. We want to actually book a charter. We want to all go out fishing.
We can do that.
And I'm bringing my binoculars so I can see if I can spot Bessie.
Cool. Thank you, Brian.
You're very welcome. Nice to have you on the boat.
Hi, welcome to Kids Corners. Registration for our Story Hours, Books and Babies, and Story Time for Tots is presently ongoing. Books and Babies will be on Tuesdays from 10:30 to 11:15 a.m. or 4:30 to 5:15 p.m. That is for birth to 2 with a caregiver. The program begins September 27th. Story Time for Tots is going to be on Wednesdays from 10:30 to 11:15 or 4:30 to 5:15, ages 2 and 3. That begins September 28th, children with a caregiver. And our last program, Story Hour for 4 and 5-year-olds, is going to be held on Thursdays from 10:30 to 11:30 or 4:30 to 5:30, and that begins on September 29th. So you can call or stop in to register your child for any of those programs right now. Other programs coming up, something we're very excited about. We're having a tank warming party for our new pet seahorses. Yay! A year in the making. They are here. That will be on Thursday, September 22nd from 6 to 7 right here at the library. We've got a lot of fun lined up for that evening. Right next to me we have a children's a seahorse-themed raffle basket that will be, you can buy tickets for it right now at the library. And over here, this is the adult seahorse-themed basket raffle. And the tickets for the adult are $1 a ticket or 6 for $5. Tickets for the children's basket are 50 cents a piece or 3 for $1. There's all kind of good things in there. There is in the adult basket, Sea Life and Beach Glass wine charms, napkin holder and seahorse weight, a candle with a seahorse top, saltwater taffy, Scarlet Nights, the book by Judy Devereaux, a decorative lamp with a little seahorse on it, 2 seahorse martini glasses, a bottle of fish-eye Pinot Grigio wine, and a starfish-shaped dish that is just gorgeous. In the children's basket, we have a Beanie Baby seahorse, a teeny beanie crab and jellyfish, 2 hand-painted glasses with seahorses on them, a seahorse sticker book and seahorse stickers, The Lifestyle of a Seahorse, a nonfiction book by Carlene Sexton, 2 coloring books and crayons, 5 glow bracelets and 2 glow sticks, Swedish fish candy and tropical starburst candy, a giant lollipop, 2 bottles of Gatorade, blue tropical flavor, Magic Grow starfish and a Magic Grow mini aquarium, a sea anemone jumbo pen, and a Sea Life shoelace friends. They're little things you can put on your shoelaces, and they're all little Sea Life characters. So that's coming up. You better be here because it's going to be fun. We have, guess how many Sea Life gummies in a jar. I've got a little contest. If you can pretend like you are a seahorse. This is for the kids or adults. We're going to have a little contest to see who can slurp up the Jell-O the quickest, like a seahorse. And also, the last program I want to tell you about is Pie in the Sky. This is an after-school program, Friday, September 30th, 4:30 to 5:30, kindergarten to grade 5. You're going to hear delicious stories and create a potpourri pie. This is in conjunction with a program sponsored by Kramer House, Taste of Conneaut. It's all about the pie. And we will also, all day long that day, we will be selling pieces of pie for a $2 donation. And also, starting that day, the Friends of the Library will be having their Everything Goes book sale, and it will run through October 4th, I believe. And all proceeds will benefit the library. And now if you'll step over here, I want to show you, we have a new collection of Seahorse books. We figured we've got seahorses, we sure as heck better have some Seahorse books. So right down here on the end, these are a couple Seahorse books we already had in our collection because we knew we were going to be getting the seahorses. This, like I say, has been a year in the making. But we've recently added some new nonfiction ones. This is Secrets of the Seahorse by Diane Baer and Pamela Knight. It's a nonfiction beginning reader. This one is called Seahorses by Sylvia M. James, and it is also a beginning reader and has absolutely gorgeous pictures in it. Right next to that, we have Seahorses. I didn't write down the author. I don't think the author's on here. And this is maybe for grades 1 through 3 reading level, and it has the pictures in all of these books are just amazing. That right there is a pregnant papa seahorse because the daddies have the babies. Next to that is more of an intermediate level nonfiction, Seahorses by Stephen Adonosky, maybe grades 3, 4, and 5, and this one too has incredible pictures in it. Let me show you. Hang on a sec. Oh, there's a sea dragon. And actually, Pat was telling me today, one of our employees here, that she heard that sea dragons are so fragile, if you were to pick them up, they would just fall apart. So you can't have a sea dragon for a pet. This little book right here is, I would say, grade 5 to adults. Seahorses, Mysteries of the Ocean. It is just a plethora of information about seahorses, fact, fantasy, seahorses, just information, all kinds of information about seahorses. It's a great little book. And now starting with some of the fiction books, this is The Sign of the Seahorses, a tale of greed and high adventure in 2 acts by Graham Bass. And this is an exciting underwater adventure drama written in rhyme with absolutely fabulous illustrations. And it's a really big book with great illustrations. They're beautiful. And of course, probably many of you know Eric Carle's Mr. Seahorse. And this book highlights several other fish of the sea where the male actually either carries or nurtures the babies. And some of them are the seahorse, of course, something called a stickleback, a tilapia, which I think we eat those fish, Curtis nursery fish, a pipefish, a bullhead catfish, and many others. The coolest thing about this book is it has these transparent overlays so that it shows you how some of the sea animals are camouflaged from their enemies when they're under the sea. And there's several overlays like this. It's very, very nice. This book I was so excited about. It's got some really unusual illustrations in it. It's Over in the Ocean in a Coral Reef by Marianne Burks, and it's illustrated by Jeanette Canyon. This is a counting book, but all the illustrations were done with polymer clay, and they're absolutely fabulous. And it's in rhyme, and it goes, over in the ocean far away from the sun lived a mother octopus and her octopus one. Squirt, said the mother, I squirt, said the one, so they squirted in the reef far away from the sun. And it goes all the way up through 10 seahorses. Although, I don't know if you know it, but seahorses can lay anywhere from 200 to 400 babies at a time. So 10 would be a very small brood for a seahorse. This one I'm going to use in our upcoming story hour. This is even a board book for the toddlers. This is called Secret Seahorse by Stella Blackstone. The illustrations are by Claire Beaton, and this has fabulous illustrations. Each page is an applique piece of art that is done with felt, sequins, and beads. And I know that Cindy's probably going to really like this one, and it might even inspire her to do a little wall hanging with underwater animals and seahorses, because she already does some of this felt work with beads and sequences, and so I know she's going to really like this book. This one may be small, but it's a mighty book. This is a small version of a bigger book that is also offered out there. And actually, I thought I ordered the bigger book, but when I got the little one, the price was right, and it's kind of cool. It's called Seahorse Reef, The Story of the South Pacific by Sally M. Walker. And it has so much information about animals that live in the sea. It's a great little book. Small but mighty. And the last thing, I'm going to have a link. If you want to go online, you can create a little seahorse stick puppet. And I have a link to that. It is AuntAnnie.com. There's even a shadow play there about under the sea. So stop in, check out our new collection of Seahorse books, and they're seahorses.
Hi, this is Kat
And Kathy at the movies.
and this month we are going to talk about movies that deal with fishing or the sea or fish in general. We've got some really nice nonfiction DVDs here at the library. This one, Oceans, is a film by Walt Disney Studio. Features an exhilarating look under the sea through the eyes of those that live here. It's narrated by Pierce Brosnan. The IMAX Under the Sea transports you to some of the most exotic and isolated undersea locations on Earth. And this is narrated by Jim Carrey. The Deep features animated scene index, fish jokes, wolf eel fact page. Marvel and become totally enraptured with the never-ending abundance of species that the deep has to offer. There's no narration to this. It's like you were a scuba diver and you're in the water with the fish. It's very, very nice. Cool. We have many others, as you can see, fiction and nonfiction. Also, TV, as far as TV concerned, we have The Deadliest Catch. Where is that one? Up here? No? Well, it's here. There it is. The Deadliest Catch. This is on Discovery Channel now. You can catch that every week. Also, if you want to go to the Animal Planet, you can check out River Monsters. And they also have the special of the Blue Planet and the Blue Seas. So, if anyone is interested, I have a list of the Fisherman's View of the top-selling fishing movies of all time. Just come on in and ask Kat, and I'll give you a copy. Now, sharks, piranhas, and mutants all terrorize bodies of water in the 5 best killer fish movies. And Kathy's going to tell us a little bit about some of those.
Okay, thanks, Kat. When I heard that we were going to watch fish movies this month for Library Line, I thought, oh no, not fish movies. But no matter what my feelings are about fishing, I can't be disrespectful because my husband is an avid fisherman. So I started thinking, and I thought about the movie Jaws, which is a great movie, and it's a fishing movie. And anybody who watches it would agree that it has to be one of the best movies ever made. Even though it was made in the 70s, it still holds water today. The second movie that came to mind was On Golden Pond, which we don't have here, but it's in the system. And it's a lot different than Jaws, but it is a fishing movie. It is quiet and sentimental, and it has a moral that you'll learn at the end of the movie. So every time it comes on TV, I still look forward to watching it. Then I ran out of movies, so I had to Google fish movies, and it came up with 4 movies over and over again. Jaws, On Golden Pond, A River Runs Through It, and A Perfect Storm. And they're all great movies. They're all fishing movies. yet each one is different. A River Runs Through It is about fly fishermen, and A Perfect Storm is about commercial fishing. So all of them hold something a little bit different. And as Kat pointed out, there are a lot of reality shows and documentaries about fishing, and even some cool movies about fish, not necessarily about fishing. You might also like to check out some of the classics like Moby Dick and The Old Man and the Sea, or for something completely different, a silly comedy like Bait Shop or Gone Fishing. So come and check out our fishing movies at the library. And that's pretty much it. My husband said that I was too windy and rambled on last month at the train one, so I'm going to keep this short and sweet. Come on in and check out a movie about fishing. Thank you.